I wanted to briefly talk about another type of lazy person who feels entitled, and when you try to help them out, and how frustrating that is. And I want to share a situation I encountered recently. By the time this airs, it will be months later, thank goodness. And I just wanted to share this in hopes that it will help someone else and how to deal with it. So here we go. Good morning, everyone. Once upon a time, there was a situation where I tried to help a relative. A relative had a situation come up where it was a financial situation. Now, I wasn't very close with this relative, so I wasn't very sure if I should give them to money to help them with the situation. So instead, I gave them information so they can obtain the funds to help them with the situation or to help them delay the situation. The bottom line is that they were going to have something disconnected in their home. So instead of giving them the money to take care of the disconnection, because as I stated before, I didn't know this person very well, and I was reluctant because Spirit told me not to give them the money, I went ahead and I asked them to do some legwork to see if they can delay the disconnection in some way, form, or fashion. So they went ahead and they did that. I told them who to contact in order to try to make a payment arrangement or to get on some kind of budget billing plan, maybe just to kind of push back the time in which to pay the bill, or maybe reduce the bill so they can gather up the money that they need to pay the bill. And that would also give me some time to get some background on this individual and decide whether or not I would help them financially. And I'm glad I did that. So they said, okay, thanks a lot, blah, 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 and went ahead and hung up the phone. So as a courtesy, the very next day I thought I would follow up when I got off work and said, you know what, let me go ahead and leave them a message and ask them, what happened with that? Because I wanted to know, how did it go when you contacted the entity and asked them if you could get an extension or make a payment arrangement? How did it go? Did everything go okay with that? Just out of concern to see if everything worked out. Now, normally, guys, when you ask somebody how did it go in regards to a situation, they would normally come back to you with a response in regards to that situation, whether it was yes, it worked out, no, it didn't, this happened, or whatever. They would talk about that situation, right? Wrong. See, this is where you start to find out the character of people. People who are lazy and entitled do either one or two things. Number one, they either whine or cry about it. Number two, they don't say thank you or express any gratitude and they complain. Or number three, they don't say anything at all or don't respond to you. Well, what happened is when this person came back to me, they didn't even respond to my question at all, and immediately came back to me with another problem, not even 24 hours later. Came back to me with another problem, with another situation. Situation number two. Now, mind you, I just got off work, just looking for a response in regards to the first problem less than a day before. Comes back to me with another problem. Now, this problem was absolutely stupid in compared to the first problem. First problem was a crisis problem. Second problem, I consider a dumb problem. What I classify as a dumb problem is a problem in where you could have handled this yourself because you have the time or the resources, but you waited until the last minute and refused to address it. That's what I consider a dumb problem. This is an individual who has nothing but time on their hands. This is an individual who has nothing but access to resources but refused to use them. This was an individual who waited until the last minute to handle the situation and made no effort whatsoever. I speak on this channel in regards to crisis situations all the time. I have no problem with helping someone in crisis as long as they have done everything they could within their power prior to the last minute to try to avert the crisis. If you've done everything that you could and you've run out of resources, I will help you. But if you have not tried and you have done nothing and it's the last minute, I can't help your ass because you didn't try. You're going to have to suffer. Maybe you'll learn something and learn better next time. This person comes back to me and tells me about some appointment that they had in regards to recertification of their monthly benefits. And for those of you who live in the U.S., any type of monthly benefits that you receive from the government, you receive well in advance what is required, what paperwork, what documentation that you receive, your date and your time of your appointment well in advance. It's usually at least a month in advance, if not weeks. You have plenty of time to get these documents together. Because the backlog of paperwork is very hard to get another appointment, so you need to make sure you have everything in order. You do not wait until the day before to try to pull everything together, especially if you do not have a job, you're not in school, and you have nothing but time on your hands. This particular person came back to me the night before and told me that, oh, by the way, I'm having computer problems and I can't print up the forms and I need to figure out how to fill out the forms. I don't live in the same city, state, town, vicinity, nowhere near this person to even help them. Now, the old me would have tried to figure it out, get on the phone, go on Skype, Zoom, whatever the hell it is, video chat, to try to help walk them through it because I was naive like that. But you know what I did? I kind of just looked at the message and I was a little bit irate because the first thing that came to mind was number one, you didn't answer my original question in regards to the other situation. Number two, you immediately bombarded me with another question. Number three, you waited until the last minute in regards to your personal business when you have nothing but time on your hands and people like me are working all day long and I have very little time. And number four, I'm wondering what the hell you expected me to do about it. So I started to feel a certain type of way. I started to get really pissed off about it. Oh, and number five, this person is half my age. Let me just throw that in there. So I started to get pissed off about it, and I went into auntie mode in the back of my mind right away. I'm sitting up here fussing at the sky, people looking at me like I'm crazy while I'm inside this restaurant gathering dinner because I'm fussing at the sky. So after I did my little rant for 2 seconds, I finally calmed down. I didn't answer back. I didn't fuss and complain. I just kind of just left the text where it was. And after I calmed down, I did a little woosah, a little breathing, a little meditation. And I very politely went back to him and I thought of someone else who was receiving benefits. And I said, well, I really don't know about that situation. I said, the best thing for you to do is to contact this other person who knows about those situations and maybe they can help you. And I left it at that. And I erased the message from my phone. I removed that energy from my electronic device. I wasn't going to stew in those juices, people. But you know what that told me? When I sat down and thought about it later on, see, this was a seemingly nice person in the beginning. As I stated before, I was just getting to know this relative and everything, and getting along fine, and they were talking a game like they wanted to head in a great direction. But it gave me a chance to sit down later on. After hearing that, I started to look at the big picture in regards to their situation. Be careful when you act spoiled towards other people who are trying to help you. Because when you come at them like that and let them know how you really are, they're going to start looking at your entire situation. So I started to think, I was like, wait a minute. They live in such and such, they got such and such, and they got their whole family around them, but they got all these problems and problems and problems and problems. How come their family's not doing so-and-so? How come they don't have their friends doing so-and-so and they're right there? And how come they don't have this going on? How come they have so much time and they couldn't do this and they couldn't do that? See, it made you second guess your relationship with this person now because of their behavior. So that's another form of a lazy person. That is someone who they have time for the foolishness, but they don't have time to handle their business. That's another type of a lazy person. These are the type of people, if you ask them about the game scores and the football teams, they could tell you every detail about that. But when it comes to them handling their financial business at home, handling their educational business, anything having to do with their standard of living and bettering themselves, they don't know shit. These are the type of people that they know everything that's going on with every reality show, every video that comes out, know every person that does a video online or is probably on TikTok or Instagram or any other social media outlet all day long. They know about those things, anything having to do with pleasure or recreational or gaming. But as far as trying to handle their own business, as far as trying to get caught up on their bills, bettering their credit scores, getting a better education so they can have a better quality of life, they don't know shit. They will go reach out to someone else because they don't want to take 5 minutes to better themselves. That's another type of lazy people. And they're always going to be reaching out to someone else to bail them out because they don't want to take 5 minutes to figure that out. So be careful with these types of lazy people. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. But yeah, bailing them out every time they get into a pickle is not going to help them become better people. Don't give them any money. They're going to have to learn how to figure these things out. If a service becomes disconnected with these types of people, it's going to have to be disconnected. They're going to have to learn how to, fill the bathtub up with some water. They're going to have to learn how to light some damn candles. That's what they're going to have to learn how to do. They're going to have to learn how to cut some grass until they can get a paycheck. They're going to have to learn how to muddle through, because just throwing money at these types of people, it will never ever end. You will just be a funding source for them because they'll never learn how to fend for themselves and channel their energies to what's important. They need to grow up. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Peace.